Everybody, welcome to Urban Pro classes, yet another session of English language. I'm your tutor, Dr. A. Srinivas. I'm basically from Andhra Pradesh, India, currently living and working in Bangalore. I'm a doctorate in English literature with a few other diplomas and degrees like journalism, mass communication, etc. I worked in different countries like Oman, Singapore, Brunei Darussalam, etc. for nearly 15 years. And then I relocated to Bangalore. And since then, I've been working for various organizations, teaching English language and literature. And I'm very happy that I'm working for Urban Pro classes also, teaching BA, MA English, as well as spoken English courses. Today, we are going to discuss some common errors that Indians do make in English language. Today, let's see some of the common errors that Indian speakers do in both written as well as spoken English. These common errors creep into our language either because that we take things for granted or we haven't learned them properly or we do not know that they do exist and we do commit these mistakes. And these mistakes happen almost in all the parts of India across the country. So let's see these common mistakes that what Indians do in English language. Here we go. The first one, for example, the word improvisation, improvise or improvisation. As a matter of fact, improvise has nothing to do with the verb improve or noun improvement. Improvise means to make something from whatever is available handy nearby, although it is not what you normally use. Or another meaning is to do something without any kind of preparation. But we do think that improvise or improvisation has something to do with the verb improve, but as a matter of fact, it is not the case. So improvise means to do something without any preparation or to use an object for a different purpose, which is not meant for. So try to be watchful, guys. And one more interesting observation. One of the most commonly occurring mistake in Indian English is the opposite of postpone. As a matter of fact, the opposite of postpone is not prepone. We take it for granted that post and pre are prefixes because we do hear words like pre-lunch session, post-lunch session, post-wedding, or post-operative care, etc. So obviously, whenever we hear any word with post, we think that remove post and add pre, but it's not the case. Postpone is not a compound word, it is a single word by itself. Therefore, the opposite of postpone is not prepone. And what is it then? It is advance. The opposite of postpone is to advance. We say that the meeting is advanced by 2 days. So it will be held on the 15th of this month instead of 17th. Or you can say the wedding is advanced to this week instead of next week. So prepone is not accepted, guys, outside India, and it is exclusively Indian English. Yes, now we have a different category like Australian English, Canadian English, American English. We do have Indian English also, where it's very much confined to India and it's not accepted. Please bear this in mind, guys, and particularly when you are moving outside India, use the word advance as opposite of postpone and try to avoid using prepone in India too. Okay, and here we go with the third one. Most of us have this problem, particularly when they introduce themselves in an interview or in an organization or an office in a bank, etc. Myself, I'm Kumar Verma, a computer graduate from Bangalore University. Or I say that myself from Mangalore, something like this. We cannot start a sentence with myself. Myself is called a reflexive pronoun. Without I, myself has no place in the sentence. I repeat, only when you start the sentence with I or use I in a sentence, you can use myself either immediately after I or somewhere else in the sentence. But don't ever start a sentence with myself, please. So, what is the correct way? I am, or my name is, something like this, or the alternatives for this. But don't start with me or don't start with myself. Please bear this in mind also when you are introducing yourself in an interview or anywhere else. Please introduce yourself as I am. I am Kumar, I am Radha, I am Srinivas, I am Madhusudan, etc. etc. But don't start with the reflexive pronoun of myself. Myself is used when you are reiterating on the subject. I myself did this. Nobody told me. I myself volunteered to take the vaccine. Nobody insisted. Well, the next one. Present participle of have. That is nothing but the ing form of the verb have. Please avoid this having in a sentence like possessing something or suffering something. Like, oh, sorry, I'm having only 100 rupees in my pocket. Oh, I wish I could give you something like this. No. I am having is not there as a practice in English grammar. So I'm having two brothers and three sisters. I'm having a new car. Oh, I'm having a severe headache. Please excuse me from work. All these are not possible in English. So have in its ing form, that's participle form, that is having, is not practiced in any continuous tenses. It is there. Having does exist. Like having seen me, he rushed into the home. Why? Oh, having seen the snake, he immediately looked for a stick around. Something like this. But not being used in any continuous tenses. As you can see on the slide, I am having two brothers, I'm having a car, I'm having fever, headache, etc. They are to be avoided. Please also make a note of it that have is not used in its present participle form or not used in any continuous tenses. Right? Then, past tense negative sentences means an action which was supposed to happen in the past did not happen. How to say this? He didn't understood the theory because people use the past for the verb because it already happened. But actually, we made the necessary changes in the helping verb itself. That is, do, does became did. So again, we need not use the past form of the verb. Therefore, he did not understand the theory. She did not accept the proposal. I did not meet him. We did not receive any information. They did not come here. We didn't go there, etc. After the negative not with a combination of a helping verb, the main verb always remains in the present. I repeat, after any helping verb, do, does it, or didn't, the main verb remains only in present. Don't use the past form of the verb there. I didn't understand what you're saying. Did not accept the proposal is incorrect. Instead, we say she did not accept the proposal. She did not accept the proposal. So what I'm trying to reiterate here is after the helping verb, keep the main verb in present in all the negative sentences, not only in past tense for that matter, either in present like don't, doesn't, or even didn't. We made the necessary changes in the helping verb. Therefore, we don't have to use the past form again. Therefore, when you are making negative sentences in past tense, it's like she didn't come, she didn't accept the proposal, we didn't go there, they didn't invite us, I didn't understand what you are saying, etc. Okay, so use the main verb in its base form after the helping verb when you are making negative sentences, either written English or spoken English. Okay, right, guys, here we go to one of our next slides. Prepositional errors. The most common errors in English language across the globe, not just in India. Because prepositions are tricky and slightly naughty. And information about prepositions is just a matter of knowledge. Because unless you know how a certain verb takes a certain preposition, you are likely to commit a mistake. And these things creep into our conversational English quite often. For some reasons, most of us say cope followed by up. He didn't cope up, he couldn't cope up, she couldn't cope up, etc. But cope is never followed by the preposition up, but it is followed by the preposition with. For example, as you can see, he resigned because he couldn't cope up with the pressure. He resigned because he couldn't cope with the pressure. Or you can say, she can't cope with the highly demanding job. Don't say cope up with the highly demanding job. The verb cope is never followed by the preposition up, but it is always followed by the preposition with. I hope I'm clear to you. Please avoid cope up, but say cope with. Right? One more preposition error. Yeah, most of us say this when they go to a doctor. Doctor, I'm suffering from fever since 3 days. Since and for. Yeah. Since is used when you are indicating exact point of time. And for is used to denote certain period of time. Okay, I hope you got it. Since is used to denote exact point of time. Time by your watch, day, date, month, year, etc. For is used for period of time, 3 days, 3 hours, 6 months, 5 years, something like that. So when you go to a doctor, say that I am suffering from fever for the past 3 days, or mention the day and date. Say, for example, today I've gone. So you can just say that I'm suffering from fever since last Monday, since last Sunday, since 12th of December, since 10th of November, whatever. So the exact date requires a since, and period of time requires for. Okay, like she has been working here since 2018. I have been studying in the school since my first standard. So since and for are used usually in present perfect continuous tense, which means the summary is when you go to doctor, say that doctor, I have been suffering from fever since last Sunday, or I have been suffering from fever for the past 3 days. That is how since and for are used, and they have their limitations, right? More prepositional errors in our conversational English, particularly. I came to office by walk, by car, by bus, by cycle, by two-wheeler, etc. Well, your legs are not mode of transportation. They're part of your body. So therefore, you say that I came to office on foot, by walk is not the accepted usage. So never use the phrase by walk. Instead, you say I came to office on foot. That's the correct usage. Okay. Right. One more thing. It is 9:35 in my watch, or 9:35 from my watch. No, both prepositions are not accepted. Instead, we say it is 9:35 by my watch. By is the correct preposition there. It is 9:35 by my watch. Right? One more prepositional error. Similarly, I prefer coffee than tea. It's incorrect sentence, and it's because it's incorrect preposition there. Prefer is followed by the preposition to, but not than. Prefer, superior, inferior, senior, junior. These words take the preposition to, not than. I hope you have registered this point in your mind clearly. One more prepositional error is also one of the most frequently occurring prepositional mistake that we do. We discussed about the farmer protest in Delhi. Is an incorrect sentence because there is an incorrect usage of the preposition about. Actually, the verb discuss or discussed, they don't take any preposition. But it becomes so common in our day-to-day language, conversational English, that we use or we compelled to use it's a correct sentence. Or we discuss wedding plans. We discussed the arrangements for tomorrow's meeting. Any object that follows discuss, there is no preposition between the verb discuss and the object. Straight away, the object comes. So we discussed the farmer protest in Delhi is the correct sentence ultimately. I hope you registered that. The verb discuss does not take any preposition. Straight away, the object can be used. Right? Okay. And then this is again one more common mistake that most of us do. Improper usage of a word. For example, you see here, I did a mistake by going there is incorrect sentence. Instead, you say, I made a mistake by going there. These things are to be learned from a source. We find that did and may, there's no difference, but it's a matter of sensibility. English language is a cultural thing for the British. So when you say that, I know he stood up immediately when I saw, no, they say that he rose to his feet. So as I'm telling you, there is no logical explanation as to why a certain word is wrong and why a certain word is correct. It's a matter of sensibility, cultural sensibility for the English people. And it's a foreign language, and therefore we try to learn their usage. So therefore, I did a mistake by going there is incorrect. Instead, you are expected to say, I made a mistake by going there. Number 2, please suggest me a good outlet for shirts. Please suggest me a good restaurant for a vegetarian food. No, please suggest a good outlet for shirts. It's called redundancy. When you're asking you to suggest, me is not necessary. Please suggest a good outlet for shirts. Please suggest a good restaurant. Please suggest a good theater, etc. Number 3, I wish I was an artist. Oh, I wish I was a singer. Is incorrect sentence again because was is improperly used there. Wish is something where you are speaking about something which is not possible to happen, impossible to happen, improbable to happen. Therefore, we don't use the regular pattern of grammar there. We use something else to indicate that, oh no, I wish I were an artist. Now you cannot become, it's too late. Only then you say this sentence. I wish I were an artist. I wish I were a cricket player. I wish I were a singer. I wish I were. Again, I repeatedly tell you, there is no logical explanation as to why a word is used after verse, because it's normally not the case in usual grammar. But here you are speaking something improbable, therefore we say, I wish I were an artist. 4th one, me and my friends went for a dinner. Now there is an order syntactically to say when you are giving the order of pronouns. My friends, my brother, my wife, and I went for a dinner. When you're giving the list, keep first person singular in the last. My friends and I went for a dinner. My wife and I attended the party. My brother and I went to see the patient in the hospital. Keep I always in the last, in the order of subjects when you are making a sentence. I hope these things will definitely help you sharpen, shape your English, and you will try to implement these changes in your conversational English. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being a part of this program. Thank you.